Welcome to the New Business Edu podcast. In this episode we will talk about diversity in the IT industry, the challenges of making a career in artificial intelligence, agile methodology and the importance of soft skills, even in a very technical-driven profession. To talk about these topics, we invited Isabel Scavetta, who started a new career in the IT industry a few years ago, and now is an agile enabler of artificial intelligence products at Rolls Royce in UK. Isabel is a founder of Women in Tech, where she writes monthly articles advising on starting in the tech business, directly advising more than 50 women. She has recently won several awards for her work in coding and artificial intelligence. Isabel, thanks for joining us. Can you please introduce yourself further to our audience?
Fabio, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. My name is Isabel. I currently am an Agile enabler at R2 Data Labs, which is Rolls Royce's AI product hub. And I'm here for two reasons. One, to talk about my unconventional transition into technology industry and how others might do the same. And two, I'm really passionate about diversity in the technology industry and democratizing access to technology education.
Thanks, Isabel. It is a pleasure to have you with us. Let's start talking about your experience in work in the IT sector. The IT industry is known as it lacks diversity. How has been your journey so far, and what are the challenges you face in this industry?
I think that's something that's been getting a lot more news attention lately, which I think overall is a really positive thing because there are a lot of barriers to entry for a lot of people. Something that I think is particularly important though is from an intersectional viewpoint, the IT industry really struggles. I think there are some great initiatives out there, for example, focus on gender diversity, etc., but they lack the nuance and appreciation for how different people will have bigger mountains to climb when entering this industry. In terms of my personal journey, I've been very lucky to benefit from quite a few schemes interested in getting women into tech, getting LGBT people into tech, and that's helped me to build my confidence and my general awareness of an industry I knew nothing about during my undergrad. At the same time, I think one of the biggest challenges is changing into tech tends to be quite a leap of faith. Not many undergraduate degrees really prepare you for a technical degree or what that might look like. So if you are really interested in making that jump, it is possible, but you have to kind of carve out that route for yourself, learn what you think might be useful, read about what you're interested in, etc. And that is quite challenging compared to having the set kind of grad scheme tiered system that a lot of people just go through.
You are very young but already have strong experience and diverse skills. You are a winner of the 2020 Code First Girls Team Player Award, 2020 Diversity Hackathon Finalist on Vodafone, CFG, and the 2017 Women in Tech Leadership Award. Please, tell us about these experiences, what were the key learning from each one, and the key challenges you have faced.
I'm actually really happy that you asked me about this because I think sometimes achievements can be really decontextualized, and I'm really proud of having done these things, but they were really challenging at the time and really unexpected. So yeah, more than happy to talk you through them. To begin with, I'll start with the 2017 Women in Tech Leadership Award because to me now it's really quite funny. I went to a conference at the time organised by Bright Network for women interested in technology, engineering, consulting. I'd applied because I was interested in consulting and I thought I had absolutely no chance of getting into either of the other two industries. But when I was there, I listened to some really amazing women, and I started realising that maybe there were kind of soft skills I developed or roles, non-technical roles in these industries that I could transfer into. And that was really shown to me when I won this award, which was based off my mentorship and leadership work that I did in my spare time. And those were skills that Skyscanner, massive tech company, saw as really advantageous to someone entering the tech sector. So kind of that always stuck with me, and building off the back of that, when I graduated, decided to pursue that interest and applied to lead on two hackathons at Code First Girls, Diversity Hackathon and the Big Data Challenge. This was, again, a really interesting learning experience because I worked with some brilliant women who were all far more technically capable than I was, but I really enjoyed having that leadership role, and I enjoyed structuring our work, making sure we were going to deliver on time, building our virtual collaboration, sort of helping design our product and our product vision. And that experience showed me how we could be successful in this environment. And I think getting to the finals of the Diversity Hackathon with my team is probably one of my highlights of my 2020. And then finally, the Team Player Award was a massive surprise to me. It was an award I didn't even know existed. But CodeFest Girls went through all of the participants across the 2 challenges, which I think was like 150 women or something like that. And I got chosen to receive this award for the leadership I'd shown on the programme, my resilience. And yeah, that was a big moment for me and a real kind of vote of faith in my interest in the industry and my belief that I could maybe come into this full time.
You are now working with AI in the Rolls Royce's data and AMP, AI innovation. What are your views about the role and impacts of artificial intelligence today, both for the industry, professionals, and society?
AI is a really interesting industry to work in because it's simultaneously very powerful and very misunderstood. So it combines kind of 2 of my key interests, which is 1, harnessing the power of data and digital, and 2, the importance of digital education and literacy going forward. So on the one hand, I think it's got the potential to disrupt everything pretty much of life as we know it. But there's also consequences. So for example, quite rightly, there's been a lot of articles and press lately around algorithm bias. I was pleased to see, for example, that Facebook have just recently released a new open source data set of like 45,000 videos trying to help evaluate fairness in computer vision with people from all different backgrounds. Because, as I spoke about earlier, because we don't have intersectional teams building these kinds of tools, it's creating all kinds of issues further down the line. The second piece is around how AI, a lot of people when I say I work in AI, people are quite scared of it. And that comes back to the digital education and literacy piece. I think there's a big push at the moment towards getting digital education in schools in terms of upskilling our working population, thinking about how we can build for the future. And I think as we get more people having that base level understanding, it's going to be easier to integrate AI to enact meaningful change in a lot of areas of our life and to augment the human experience rather than replacing it.
I would like you to tell us about Agile Methodology. Tell our colleagues what is it about and its benefits.
Sure, in my current internship I work as an Agile enabler in the AI department, so I don't actually code in my day-to-day job, and actually I'm all about trying to get Agile methodology used across the projects that we have in the AI hub. What's exciting about Agile methodology is just a way about thinking about how we structure work, and it's traditionally used in software development, but we're seeing some really exciting applications of this methodology to other systems and other industries. So it's all about trying to work more collaboratively, trying to release something sooner and trying to get feedback faster, and using that kind of iterative and incremental change to deliver a project on time and be responsive to feedback that you're getting as you go through its development. If this is something you're interested in, for example, Rolls Royce have an entire course on edX that you can take, which is 6 weeks, that I really enjoyed. But basically what you do is you design projects in sprints, and with every iteration you add new features to that product, so you have this kind of gradual product growth and constant delivery throughout a project.
We know that you have strong technical skills and you are a bright young woman. Now I want you to speak about the soft skills and the attitudes that complement your successful journey so far.
Thank you. If I had to put it down to 3 main soft skills that I think have been really useful so far, it would probably be 1, owning my story, 2, resilience, and 3, a willingness to learn. In terms of owning my story, it's just, I think when I first started out trying to transition into tech, I wanted to hide the fact, like I had like a humanities degree, that I'd only recently started learning to code, that I'd only recently started to learn about the industry. And actually the real change for me was when I started owning the fact that I didn't have that background and actually selling that as something really advantageous. It means that, I'm here because I'm following a passion. It means that I often bring a new perspective to a situation or to a meeting. And it also means I don't get lazy. I'm learning all the time and I'm trying to push myself to learn absolutely all the time. My second point then would be around resilience. I think especially things like LinkedIn can be such a highlights reel. A lot of my friends, course mates and things like this have been like, I have no idea how on earth you've managed to actually make it to tech. That just seems crazy. The answer is a lot of rejection. A lot. That's fine. That's very normal. I think it's something that's not spoken about enough. But as long as you're learning from it, it's not a mistake. And as long as you're growing from it, It's just a redirection, and that's been really helpful for me at this really early stage in my career, especially as a COVID graduate. Finally, I'm really open-minded. I'm really willing to learn. A mentor of mine said to me, you have the ability, you just need the skills. And I do think skills is something that can be learned, as shown through my journey over the past year. It's not always easy or straightforward, and there's not that same structure as you might have at university, but something great about the pandemic is that it's made online learning so accessible to so many people. And as long as you're happy to push yourself and stay disciplined, the world's your oyster.
We reached the end of our interview. Please leave key messages for the students and professionals that are listening to us.
I hope that sharing my story has been useful to you. I hope it's been quite a transparent insight into how I've done what I'm doing. If you're interested in learning more about it, please feel free to connect with me, whether that's on LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever it might be. If you're a student interested in entering this industry, I'd really encourage you to think about what your passions are, what your skills are, what you could bring, because I think there is so much potential for us to disrupt the industry as we know it, and it probably needs more people just like you. And in terms of professionals that are listening to us, something that's been really helpful for me in my journey is hearing from people in industry and listening to their experiences and getting that exposure. So if you have time in your day to help out a job seeker or a graduate or a student who might be interested in entering a technical field, it really does mean the world. It really does make a huge difference, and I'm really grateful for everyone I've spoken to.
Thank you so much, Isabel, for giving to us a little of your time. I am positive the audience just enjoyed and learned with your history. Thanks for listening to the New Business Edu podcast. Please visit our YouTube channel and don't miss our next episode with Professor Andrew Kakabadze. We will talk about ESG in corporate governance. Bye now and see you in the next episode.